I, 20-year-old female, was raised in a Mormon household. All of my family and extended family are also Mormon. I left when I was 18 after a long battle with myself because my beliefs don't match the beliefs my parents and their religion taught me. Recently, I moved to a city next to a small town that most of my extended family reside in. This means that there was a chance I would run into some family members when I'm running errands because all of the chain retail stores and whatnot are in my city. Last weekend was one of those days. All of my family already know that I'm not religious, and so far, no one has given me grief about it. I ran into my aunt and her 4 kids in Walmart and decided that since I had some time before any of my classes started, I would hang around and help her while she shopped. I had my cart and took the 2 older kids, the wilder ones, and she had the younger 2. I went off to do my shopping and pulled into the coffee aisle. My cousins thought I was going to get some snack cakes, but they looked confused when I picked up a box of coffee rather than a sweet treat. They asked a few questions about it and mentioned that they don't like the smell of coffee. I joked along and said it was okay that they didn't ever want to try coffee. I could tell they were holding back on asking some questions, though. As wild as they are, they can be really polite. I poked around for an answer, and then they asked why I drink coffee because it makes me a bad person. I know this kind of talk came from their father, so I stopped and tried to explain it as gently as I could. I said that I don't believe that drinking coffee makes me a bad person. I also explained in a very kid-friendly manner that they were going to meet a lot of people who like to drink coffee, drink tea, and not be religious. Not being religious doesn't make someone a bad person. What makes them a bad person is if they're mean to other people. They seem to understand, so to try and change the subject, I said that good people like to volunteer and help other people, then asked if they wanted to see pictures of the animals I helped take care of at the animal shelter. They got to look through the pictures and I finished my shopping. It's been almost a week since then, but I feel like maybe it wasn't my place to describe something like this to them, especially knowing their parents and how religious they are. No one has said anything though, but I'm starting to feel bad about it. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. I wish someone had said more stuff like this to me when I was a fundamentalist Christian homeschooler. They brought up the idea of drinking coffee making a person bad. Not you. You were indeed gentle in your explanation, and they deserve to know that the world has room for more views than just the ones they're told to have. Not the idiot. Comment 2. What's wrong with drinking coffee? I never read the Bible, but didn't God say on page 1 that you can eat all the plants and animals He put on the planet? Coffee is made from beans, and that's a plant. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Being a bad person makes one a bad person, not their choice of religion. In fact, many times people try to use religion to excuse them being a bad person. Now for the next story. I, a 23-year-old female, met a 32-year-old male last November and we officially became a couple in March. For my birthday in April, he completely cheaped out and only bought clearance items. He is financially stable and even went as far as to buy me a pair of shoes in a bigger size because they were a couple of euros cheaper. His birthday was at the beginning of September, but we were abroad, and he said to wait until we were home before buying any gifts. He had some pretty big and expensive requests for his birthday, so I was glad he suggested this to relieve some financial pressure. When his birthday came around, the weekend we returned home from holiday, he felt disappointed that I was essentially empty-handed, but baked a homemade cake. I decided to finance his gifts because I had no money until payday. He wanted everything he requested and not just one singular thing, and I foolishly obliged. I spent double what he spent and essentially left myself in debt for it. I held on to the gifts because I just didn't feel completely right about the situation and told him they were delayed in the post. He invited me to a family event at the weekend and said it would be rude to show up empty-handed. So I spent €70 on a gift for his niece and decent wine with chocolates for his siblings. Turns out, he was the one who invited me and not his family, and that there's actually no space for the 2 of us, and he's too cheap to chip in for a hotel or B&B. I decided to stay at home and not go, but he expected me to give him the gifts I bought to bring from him. When I said no, he was actually taken aback. Today I packaged his gifts and returned them, and I also returned what I could of the gifts I bought for his family. I work really hard and don't want a fun no scrub, and dear, I even feel bad for saying I want to be spoiled occasionally. Am I the idiot? I'm going to allow him to enjoy his weekend with family, but as soon as he returns, I'm going to end things with him. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Good call, and a word of advice: do not go into debt to buy someone a gift, ever, even if you love them. If they love you in return, they wouldn't want you to do this. So glad you're kicking this one to the curb. Not the idiot, good luck. Comment 2. Not the idiot and holy red flags, Batman. Run far and fast. You're worth more than that. Comment 3. Not the idiot, return him to wherever you got him while you're at it. Now, for the next story. I, 16-year-old male, have been cooking since I was little, and I used to join my grandparents in the kitchen when I stayed with them. My parents were never good at cooking, so when I got to be a certain age and was competent in the kitchen and my parents grew tired of getting takeout every day, they started having me cook family dinner. At first, I really didn't mind, but I got tired of having so much criticism about the food I was making. My siblings would all want their favorite dishes done and never appreciated me doing an element for each of them in every dinner. It wasn't enough. They would get more demanding of me when I was cooking, and sometimes they even said my dinner was poopy because it wasn't the dinner they wanted us to have, and for no other reason. Over the space of a year, our relationship got bad. They would be so rude and so demanding, and my parents didn't have my back. My parents had their own complaints. Sometimes Dad wouldn't eat at home for days at a time because he'd be working late, and then he would eat at home a single day that week and complain at me for not doing something healthy after he had nothing but junk. But we had nothing but healthy, and he wouldn't even say anything about having dinner that night. Dad also doesn't like rice, and has complained and moaned so many times about making dishes with rice, even though I would cook potatoes for him as a substitute. Mom would complain that I was using too much stuff from the pantry, or I used stuff she bought for her lunch, but she always has a different lunch and never told me what she had set aside. There were times she'd say I shouldn't be cooking spicy food since she doesn't like it, or she would be mad if dinner would be kept warm someplace, and my siblings and I would have eaten. But she gets home later sometimes and we'd be hungry. I tried talking to my family about it, and it got me nowhere. Eventually, I told them to cook for themselves, and my parents said I am not allowed to cook for just myself and leave them all hungry. So now I cook what I want, and they can eat it or not. But lately they have been calling me a brat and saying I am not treating them the way I should be treating family. My parents said I should be ashamed of myself. Am I the idiot? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Here is what to do. Make one dinner for the day. Put up a weekly menu so they know what's coming. Then put on your waiter outfit with order pad and declare what's for dinner. And if they want something different, then that will be extra $200,000. This will put their entitled rears in check because you aren't going to be their unpaid short order cook anymore. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Learn about what parentification means because that is exactly what is happening here. Please, as politely as you can, tell your parents and siblings to cook for themselves if they don't like your cooking. Better yet, tell them they can go hungry or go back to takeouts as well. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You are not a personal chef. Why are meals your responsibility anyway? You're the kid. Cooking is just for fun. They are the adults. Feeding the family is their responsibility. If your siblings whine, send them the YouTube video link and let them cook it themselves. Now for the next story. My 26-year-old boyfriend, 31-year-old male, and I recently started living together. I moved to the US for him because we both decided we want to live here. Now, it's worth mentioning that I never presented myself as a woman capable of womanly things, aka traditional stuff like cooking, etc., as I never viewed it as an important criteria to pick a partner. So my boyfriend kind of thought I was useless in the kitchen. Funny of him to assume that, considering I literally own a bakery, but whatever, right? He's been excited to cook and show off. However, I also wanted to spoil him, and I'm not holding back at making great meals. The problem is now he complains that the food is too good and doesn't feel homemade. He says it made restaurants less attractive to him. I hate frozen food and sloppy meals, so I do my best, yet he's unhappy. Am I the jerk? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. He's jealous, but others already said that. Not the jerk, NTA. But some advice to a newly living together couple. You want to spoil him, make things nice, play house? I get it, especially if you hadn't lived with someone else romantically before him. The advice: don't be too nice, don't spoil him, that's it. Do your general half of the household duties, stop there. It is incredibly easy to start out doing most of the work, but incredibly difficult to roll back to equal work years down the line. Life will get complicated and tiring. Playing house gets a lot less fun when the other person begins to thank you less and expect you to do everything. I've seen friends fall into this trap. Read other women's experiences. Sometimes the guy is more at fault in not knowing how to take care of chores themselves. But sometimes the girl is at fault too if she helps create this home life where she does the majority, but expects anyone to want to take over chores later. I'd be spoiled too if roles reversed. Comment 2, not the idiot. He is the biggest idiot I have read about today. Find someone who would never make your skill into a negative thing, who would never take your generosity as an insult. Those are childish, selfish behaviors, and I doubt this is the only instance he acts this way. If he wants to show off, he should learn some things from you and then try to outshine you with a top-tier meal himself. It could be a fun, friendly competition where you both grow more skilled and eat amazing food. Instead, he wants you to lower yourself to his level. He wants to be better than you. That's important to him. He literally said it. That's not a team that's going to have an advantage in the world. That's a rivalry. Comment 3. Ruined restaurants? I mean, that's a compliment, right? Or maybe find some better restaurants to your liking or out of your cuisine cooking expertise. Doesn't feel homemade makes no sense. Fine dining is fine dining because small details can take many man-hours to perfect as a compliment in a dish. Maybe he had shitty meals growing up, haha. Now, for the next story. It is getting to be the rainy season where I work. It will rain for the next 4 or 5 months. Daily. I was packing up my stuff to take to work and I was packing my boot dryer. My wife said she was hoping I could leave it at home since they need it too. I was interested, so I asked why she needed it. She said that she does lunch supervision once a week and that our son shovels snow. I proceeded to ask if this lunch supervision soaked her boots for 10 hours a day for weeks on end, and that the same question went for my son and his apparently constant snow shoveling. She said no, and that I was making her feel stupid and useless by pointing out that I actually need the boot dryer to be comfortable at my job. I feel bad if I actually made her feel this way, but I think an adult should be able to understand that stuff without being told. Edit. It turns out I'm definitely the jerk. As I stated, it takes weeks for deliveries here. There was a package waiting for me when I arrived at camp. My wife had purchased a new, very good, new boot dryer for me and was trying to surprise me. She didn't want me to lug my old one up. I have already called her and apologized. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Not for prioritizing your need for the dryer, but for the way you think about and speak to your wife. Honestly, a loving partner would be much more sympathetic about saying no. Perhaps you should consider ponying up for a second one, since you all would benefit from dry footwear in the rainy season. Comment 2. You're the idiot. That really just seems unnecessarily snippy and patronizing. I don't think you were interested in why she needed it. I think you knew there was no way she had as much need for it as you. You could have just said, "Sorry, but I really need it," and left it at that. Comment 3. You're the idiot for speaking to her like a dumb child. She asked you a simple question that required a simple answer. Buy your wife a boot dryer, dude. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.